Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again, simple man diagnosed with NPD, giving the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and things going on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind, I'm no clinician, I can only speak to my own experiences. Holy shit. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my first video under the Nameless Narcissist brand. Fucking crazy. I've seen so much. I've met so many people. I've made so many enemies. I've seen so many people come and go. My God. Which, you know, I'm not upset about. I'm a little bit upset about. No, I tell you guys that if you're just here to heal from your relationship or whatever, you should leave eventually. You can't fixate on narcissism for the rest of your life. That being said, please visit sometimes. I have very bad abandonment issues. Okay, with that little thing out of the way, I thought like a good way to kind of go off of that is to go through some of my symptoms that have bothered me and other people the most and talk about how they have changed in this past year and how, if I think that they can change in the future. So I'm going to start out with empathy, the thing that we all love to talk about. One of the biggest quarrels that people have with people like me. Honestly, I don't feel like my empathy has improved substantially over the past year. I would say that my cognitive empathy is actually better because I realize how differently I think from other people. Because thanks to most of the people who comment here, because, you know, I'll say something and that I think is completely normal, and you guys will be like, wait, what? What? You do that? That sounds exhausting. And I'm like, that seems normal. I don't know what you're talking about. But as I've said before, though, I'm not even sure if emotional empathy is something that I really want. Again, unless it does kind of lean into being able to connect to people, I guess. 2, hierarchical thinking. I had some thoughts about this recently. Because avoiding hierarchical thinking is like really, really hard for me, right? Because it's really hardwired into my brain. And like a lot of times somebody made a really good comment pointing out that like, how often does that lead you to promote yourself and to actually strive towards something? And how often does it lead to resentment and envy and stuff like that? And I was like, shit, that's a good point. And I kind of made this decision that like hierarchical thinking doesn't have to be inherently wrong as long as I'm applying it in a way that, one, isn't looking down on people that are like, that I deem like lesser or whatever, and it's not leading to resentment towards people above me. So that one hasn't really changed either. Like, you know, this has been, so far, it's been very good, right? But at least I have a healthier outlook on it now, right? It's not good to look down on people, whatever. And rationally, I know, like, nobody's better than anybody, blah, 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 blah. Alexithymia, me not being able to recognize my emotions. I've discovered so many emotions. When I made this channel, the first thing I did, like, I only knew, because you know how I talk about the 3 emotions I had? I had, like, good, bad, angry. I also found shame, like, part of, like, the bad split off, and I realized what shame was. Horrible, horrible thing. I kind of miss my alexithymia. I don't want to feel shame anymore. But I have found, I found new emotions, I'd say. Like, disgust and anger. I finally distinguished what those are. I finally realized what those were. Wow, those really are the main ones. Envy, I guess. I think I always knew what envy was. I didn't consider it an emotion. But I also have been experiencing, because of the channel, I've been experiencing like softer feelings that I started experiencing these like 6 months in, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm still just kind of sitting with them, just kind of letting them happen and hope one day like just kind of clicks. Because I don't want to overanalyze them. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to like scientifically dissect it and then basically take everything good out of it. I don't know though. But in my relationships, I would say they're better. I think I'm connecting to people better. I think. More than I expected, if I'm being honest. I've been connecting to people more than I expected. Which, all of this is kind of like, really, I've changed in ways that I was kind of surprised, because I didn't think most narcissists could change as much. Like, I am still a narcissist, right? I still have basically all the characteristics. I never want to stop being a narcissist. And when I say all the characteristics, I mean like the way I think and everything. But the idea that I have had certain emotions, I don't know what they are towards people, and I've been trying to be vulnerable and stuff, I'm like, fuck, that's new. My entitlement. So this one is an interesting one because it's not so much I've improved it a bunch, but I'm able to like realize when it's happening now. Like before, I was like, oh man, like I barely have entitlement. I don't know if I am entitled to anything, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'm entitled to anything. But now I'm realizing how in my personal life that has actually manifested, which, you know, first step towards healing and stuff like that. You know, my disorder is all about self-deception. You gotta recognize that stuff first. And the same with victim complex stuff. I didn't understand that for a really long time. Just made a video on it because I just thought, like, I thought it was ridiculous. I didn't want to be seen as a victim. I didn't want pity. But then I realized what other people meant when they said victim complex. What they meant when they said, like, oh, like, they victimize themselves for, like, pity or whatever other reason. And now that it was pointed out to, I disagree with the term victimizing the self, but I see what they mean, and, like, I'll be honest, like, they are basically interchangeable, and I'm just picking at semantics. Manipulation, interpersonal exploitation, and lying and stuff like that. Lying of those is probably the one that I'm still the worst at. Because they'll just be like these little white lies that I just do habitually and make myself look basically self-aggrandize subtly. I don't manipulate very often anymore unless like I feel like threatened, basically, or if it's just a knee-jerk reaction. But I definitely am not interpersonally exploitative. There's just some knee-jerk things with those that I'm still trying to iron out. I do try to catch myself in lies now, though. Like, I'll lie about something, I'll immediately be like, wait, I don't know why I said that. That was a lie. Don't judge me. Hypersensitivity to criticism. This is probably the one that's gotten worse. God, I have blocked so many people on my social media, and it fucks me up. It really does. That's probably the one thing that I really hate about doing this, is how much criticism I get, how many people hate me, and like just the stuff that they say that's just so fucking stupid or just mean for no reason, but is also stupid because it's being mean for no reason. That's one. And like, you would think it'd be like exposure therapy, right? No, my entire life has been exposure therapy to hypersensitivity to criticism, and this has made it so much. There's been days I've just shut down because of it, just because it's so overwhelming. I just fixate on it. I can't sleep because I'm so angry about it. I hate it. I really hate it. Grandiosity and my fluctuating self-esteem. I'm more respectful now when I'm in more grandiose states, but like, those definitely haven't changed at all. I think that's going to be a big one too, needing, and like, to go off of that, needing admiration. Like, this is a self-esteem disorder, right? And I truly believe that's at the core of this. So I think that's going to be probably the most consistent thing that stays. And in fact, in a study, I would have to look up which one it is, it said that the least likely trait to go into remission was need for admiration. Because this is a self-esteem disorder, we're always going to need that self-esteem juice. Just like with borderline, I think the most unlikely to go away was feelings of emptiness and unstable identity. Like, you kind of find those core symptoms and stuff like that within these diagnoses. Fear of abandonment, has that changed? I don't think so. I don't think that one's changed at all either. Maybe a little. I think I can handle it better. But when's the last time I was abandoned? Okay, I'm gonna have one of my friends abandon me so I can figure out if I'm better at that or not. Grandiose fantasies. This is another one of those that may have gotten worse. But that's the thing though. With most of these, it's not that they haven't gotten better. It's not if they got better or not. It's that now I can see how this is affecting my life and like recognize it and try to handle it like that, which in some degree is getting better. But, you know, I don't think I wouldn't call the behavior itself fixed per se. Then hiding the self. And this one's really hard because since everything feels fake, I'm never really sure if I'm being earnest or not. Like, I kind of play it, I think I play at my narcissism on this channel a little bit, like the typical narcissistic behavior, like, oh, I'm the best, ha 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 ha. But then it feels like I'm hiding, and so that feels fake, and that like I'm not being earnest. And then when I'm with my friends, it feels like I'm being fake because I'm not being overtly narcissistic. And yes, everything's in shades of gray, I know, but just none of it feels, and like, you know, it doesn't have to be one or the other, just none of it fucking feels real. It just feels like two characters that I have. Everything just feels like characters. Like, is it possible to not hide the self when there isn't a self? When I don't have an inner personality, when I'm just a fucking empty shell? I don't know if that might be another core of narcissism too. Along with needing affirmation, which is all just, in my mind, just a need to, one, not hate yourself, and to know who you are, to have a personality. That one sucks. Man, that was a really nice note to end that off of. Fucking happy 1 year anniversary, everybody. Okay, well, that's basically it. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Take your fucking meds.